My entrepreneurial journey started when I was a kid. At age 7 or 8, my mother would roast ground nuts and ask me to hawk them around our village.
What does that mean?
Sorry, for American kids, it means putting goods on your head and selling them on the street like this. Anyway, that was the first time I tried entrepreneurship. When I was around 12, I and my 2 friends would wake up early in the morning, pack some sand from drainages and sell it to people who wanted to build a house.
Oh wow, you're from Africa.
Yeah.
I am from Africa.
At about 13, I started following a group of women to the farm. We would buy corn in the morning, then roast and sell it after school. For me, at this point, I was selling things because I must make money to survive. But then, something crazy happened. When I was 15, I bought a used bicycle for 2,500 naira and started a bicycle renting business in my little town. Every evening after school, I would go to an open field where my mates played. Young boys like me would rent my bicycle for 5 minutes for 5 naira and 10 minutes for 10 naira. It was at this point I first experienced how sweet it is to be an entrepreneur.
I have the sweetest job in the world.
Today, I'm 36 years old and I have been through hell and heaven to be where I am right now. So, in this video, I want to give some simple advice to young people who don't know how to become an entrepreneur.
Listen.
The only way to know entrepreneurship is to do entrepreneurship. Let me rephrase that. The only way to understand and master the game of entrepreneurship is to start a business. You see, young people who wish to be entrepreneurs might have different strategies or plans. For example, you might be thinking that you'll better understand how to start a business if you can wait until you are 30. Your friends may think they would understand how to start a business if they could read 100 books about entrepreneurship. Many others might think they'll be able to start a business that succeeds if they could have $50,000. But the only people who would eventually build a successful business are those who start a business long before they are ready to start a business.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, these people will start a poorly planned, meagerly financed, terribly organized, and stupidly run business, but they'll be the only group of people who would ever understand what entrepreneurship is all about, because the only way to learn and understand entrepreneurship is to do entrepreneurship. In Book 2 of Nicomachean Ethics, the famous Greek philosopher Aristotle wrote, "For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them." This is what 20th century American philosopher John Dewey called experiential learning. In his 1938 book, Experience and Education, John Dewey wrote, "The philosophy in question is one of education of experience, by experience and for experience." Further, he said, all genuine learning comes through experience. So let's say you are 15, 19, or 25 and your dream is to become a successful entrepreneur. How can you achieve that dream?
It's very simple.
Go and start a business tomorrow morning. I mean, any business. Online, offline, anywhere. It doesn't matter how small or poorly you get started. It doesn't matter whether you start selling bananas or you sell water. It doesn't matter whether you start with $50 or $5. The only thing that matters is that you jump into a small river and start practicing swimming. The longer you stay in that river, the better your brain understands how to swim, and the more qualified you are to swim in a bigger river. I have many personal stories I can tell you to explain how this works.
Another boring story?
Okay, if you think my story is boring, I'd like to explain my theory with neuroscience. You see, in 1949, Donald Hebb, who is known as the father of neuropsychology, coined the phrase neurons that fire together, wire together. Well, in layman's understanding, it means that the only way to know how to do anything is to do them again and again, because the more you do anything, the more your brain knows how to do it. Now, pay attention to what I am about to say because it's important. Your brain does not know how to do something because you're thinking about it. Your brain doesn't know how to do anything because you're planning it. I'm sorry, your brain will never know how to become an entrepreneur because you're reading about entrepreneurship.
Don't get me wrong.
I have hundreds of books in my library and I read every day. But entrepreneurship is like driving a car. Yes, you can read some books and go to classes about how to drive a car, but you'll never know how to drive a car until you jump inside a car and drive. Make some mistakes, drive again, and make some more mistakes. So, in conclusion, think about all the skills needed to build a successful company. Your ability to persuade people to finance your business, your ability to sell, hire people, build products that people want, negotiate with others, and, yeah, steal from the public.
I'm just joking.
Well, just as no human has ever learned how to drive a car except by driving a car, no human has ever learned any of those skills any other way other than by trying to do them, making mistakes and then trying again.
Listen.
For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them. Go out tomorrow and start a business, any business. No matter how small or terrible, you can get started. Then try to persuade someone to invest in your idea. Try to sell, try branding and negotiations. At first, everything you try will fail. But then your brain will become better and better at doing those things and you'll start having some successes. Now, another problem you might face when starting a business is that some people in your family may not support you. That's why I made the video on your screen now. Click the video on your screen to learn why some people may not support your dreams and what to do about that. If you'd like to read some of my books, check the description box. Thank you.